So this video will be to Manuel, the current pastor of the Community Church of God. You know, get the Pentecostal church. You've had, again, easily enough time. Easily enough time. And the way that you should have dealt with it is very, very simply. If someone comes to you and says, oh, yeah, and you're married, and someone comes to you and says, oh, this person thinks they're supposed to be my husband or my wife. It depends on your gender and their gender, etc., whatever. The first question is, well, have you gone to God about it? First point is, have you gone to God about it? Second point is, did God say it's true? If God says it's true, well, you've got an issue. You've got something to deal with. You're married to the wrong person. The person you're supposed to be married to is possibly that person there. The one that says you're supposed to be his wife. If God says it's true. If you say that, well, no, God hasn't said it's true, and I don't think it's true, then, okay. Then you're telling me someone was wrong about what they said. Okay. Now, let it go. Okay, let it go. It's not your problem. If they're wrong, it's their problem. They made a mistake. Their problem. They need to go to God about this and, get it right with God. It's not your problem. People will say things about you all the time. Certainly, if they know that they can get to you by saying things, they're going to learn that they can say things about you all the time and they're going to get you off your game. So therefore, it doesn't matter what people say about you. Is it right? If it's right, then deal with it. If it's wrong, then what are you getting offended by? Why are you taking offence to, if someone says something that's so blinking stupid, why are you taking offence to that? As a pastor, that is your job to ask those questions. Because this is the point. Why are you being offended by something that isn't true? Why would you do that? Why would you take offence to that? That is absolutely and totally blinking well ridiculous. It is. There's no point in you making that your issue. But instead of doing that, you would rather protect the person from being offended. And not actually help the person to deal with things according to God's will and God's ways. That is just ridiculous. What are you doing? You've got to question whether or not you should be in that position as a pastor or teacher. If you go to the world's way of dealing with things as your way, safe space Christianity, you've got the Word of God. You're supposed to be teaching people how to walk according to that. If you can't do that, then get the heck out. Start off back to Spain or America or wherever you're from. Get out. You don't belong. You don't belong as a leader in any church whatsoever. Even a made-up church that you've got in your own imagination. You couldn't even be a leader of that church. If you think the way to deal with things is according to the world and not according to the Word of God. You have the Word of God. Again, if someone comes to you with an issue with someone, the first thing you say to that person is, have you talked to that other person about it? Well, have you talked to God? Then have you talked to the other person? If the answer is no to both, then send them out. Send them out your office. Say, okay, bye-bye. Go and talk to God. Go and talk to the person. Do things according to the will of God. If you don't do that, don't come to me. You expect me to do things against the will of God because you can't be bothered? But again, you've got people-pleasing pastors. People-pleasing teachers. Demonic That is demonic. And you're leading people to hell. If you want to do things according to demonic, not according to God, then you're leading people to that destination. Again, you don't understand it because you think that because people are still coming to the church, it's God bringing them. Have you not read the words of the Lord that say, the devil sends chaff into the wheat? And he's been doing it for over 2,000 years. You don't think it's possible chaff is what's being delivered to your church? Why? Because these people pray, and these people lift their hands when it's worship time, and these people give 10% of their money. Jesus. Really? Yeah. Well, the road to hell is widened because it's including most people from churches, because the leaders of churches are cowards. That's the reality. The leaders of churches are cowards. Yeah, they're not willing to stand up for God and stand up for God's will, God's ways, and stand up to worldly stupidity within the church and get it out. Yeah, it's quite possible if you do that, you might get sacked. Guess what? If they won't take notice of you, you're better off being sacked. Right? If you're doing things according to God and these people are saying, leave, we don't want that in our church, then happily leave. You should be leaving and you should be skipping out of that place with joy. Why would you want to be in a place that doesn't want to do things according to God's will and God's ways? Why would you want to be anywhere near that? Ugh. Well, the reason why they want that is because it's safe for them. Because they get to have this church, they get to have this position of pastor, which is a respected position amongst society, a trusted position amongst society, and comes with its rewards. Yeah, it's not an easy job, but considering the incredible rewards you get from it, it ain't bad, is it, really? The problem is, you end up in hell, so do they. But that is your decision to make. You get to decide, is that where you want to go? If you decide that, that's your choice. You have the right to decide the path you choose, and as a person who's chosen to lead a church, you have the right to choose how you want to lead them. If they're willing to follow, then that's their own fault as well as yours. That's the reality. I'm not going to try and water it down. I'm not going to try and do any of that because there's no point. You probably won't hear the message anyway, but you're far less likely to hear it if it's watered down. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to do what you do and then say what you're doing is wrong. That might make me out to be a hypocrite, wouldn't it? So no, I'm not going to water it down. No, as I say. In the end, people are where they are. They are. They're where they are. You just have to deal with it. And yeah, so I don't care. I'm already banned from these churches, so it doesn't matter. They can't ban me any more than what they banned me, really, can they? The River Church, I'm banned from everything there. Oasis Church, I'm banned from everything there. Never even been to Oasis Church, and they banned me from everything already. Right? Yeah. So there you go. I wish you well if you're in that position as a pastor. And it's not just those pastors, but any pastors. If you've been doing things according to the world, you need to go to God and you need to get that sorted out. And you need to grow some balls and sort it out with your church. Enjoy. Bye-bye.